On to the news. President Bola Tinubu has urged the newly appointed service chiefs to deepen professionalism, vigilance and unity in the armed forces as they serve the nation with honor. He made the call while announcing changes in the nation's military hierarchy on his official X handle, describing the appointment as part of efforts to strengthen national security. The president also commended outgoing service chiefs for their dedication, expressing confidence that the new leadership would enhance operational effectiveness across Nigeria's defense institution. In the meantime, the House of Representatives is demanding answers from the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, over reports that officers manning checkpoints in parts of the southeast and south-south Nigeria are not properly kitted. This followed a motion of urgent public importance raised by Abia State lawmaker Ibe Osonwa, who described the trend among personnel of the Nigerian Police Force and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps as alarming and a threat to national security. Here is Anieti Patrick's report.
The sponsor of the motion, Ibe Osonwa, describes the situation as alarming as it duly undermines public confidence and accountability within the security system.
The House has observed that this gross lack of proper identification at checkpoints creates a dangerous climate of ambiguity, making it virtually impossible for citizens to distinguish between genuine security personnel and criminal impersonators.
Adopting the motion, the House resolved that the Inspector General of Police should appear before the Committee on Police Affairs to explain why the situation persists and what steps are being taken to correct it. In a related development, Ahmed Saba from Kwara State urged the federal government to send humanitarian relief to communities in Patagi affected by recent insurgent attacks. He commended the Nigerian Army for restoring calm to the area.
Of ongoing effort of the Nigerian Army and other security agencies, including police, force, Department of State Security Service, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and local vigilante group to combat the bandit and restore peace.
Also on the floor, Uyime Idem of Akwa Ibom State raised concerns over oil spills and environmental degradation in Ukanafong local government area, calling for urgent federal intervention.
Concerned that the persistent oil spillages have contaminated water sources, destroyed farmlands, killed aquatic life, and subjected residents to economic hardship.
Before removing the EFCC chairman past second reading, the proposal was sponsored by Yusuf Gaddi of Plateau State.
Cybercrime, cryptocurrency manipulation, illicit financial flows, terrorism financing, and real estate-based money laundering had become prevalent. Yet, the EFCC operate under outdated provisions that do not adequately address those new realities.
And in what could lead to a new state in Nigeria, the House also considered a bill seeking to create Ijebu State from present-day Ogun State. The bill, sponsored by Olufemi Ogunbanwo and 3 others, has now been referred to the Constitution Review Committee for further legislative work. From the National Assembly, Anieti Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
The Financial Action Task Force Grey List after fully implementing a 19-point action plan to combat money laundering and terrorist financing. The global watchdog announced the country's removal during its October plenary in Paris, describing the move as a major step in strengthening financial transparency. President Bola Tinubu has hailed the delisting as a strategic victory for economy and a renewed hope of confidence in Nigeria's financial governance. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has urged lawmakers to prioritize national interest and unity in the ongoing constitutional review, warning against partisan or divisive amendments. Speaking at a joint retreat of the Senate and House Committees on Constitutional Review in Lagos State, Kanu stressed that the legislative discipline, public trust, and broad participation are vital for a legitimate outcome. He charged the committees to deliver reforms that strengthen governance, promote justice and equity, and advance Nigeria's long-term stability and development. Kalu said history will judge the outcome of the process as Nigeria works towards a people-focused constitution. The Federal Capital Territory Executive Council has approved a series of key projects aimed at improving infrastructure, education, healthcare, as well as youth empowerment across the nation's capital. The decisions were reached during the 5th Executive Council meeting chaired by Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. Our correspondent, Kabir Hassan, has details.
A total of 33 memoranda were presented for consideration. Out of 14 involved award of contracts and 8 for ratification. All received the Council's approval. In the health sector, the Council approved the provision of 12 fully equipped ambulances to strengthen emergency response services across the territory.
Today at the Executive Council meeting, a contract has been ratified, and I am very pleased to say for the first time in about 9 years, FCT will get 12 brand new ambulances.
In the education sector, approval was given for the supply of instructional materials to secondary schools aimed at improving effective teaching and learning.
In today's Executive Council meeting, a contract was awarded for the supply of instructional material for WAEC, NECO, and practical materials in 88 number senior secondary school of FCT.
Under infrastructure development, the Council approved the construction of new access roads within Abuja, as well as the extension of service centers, including the Jabi pump station, to improve public utilities.
The FCT Executive Committee today approved the award of contract for the alternative access road to the old Federal Secretariat in Durumi, as well as resurfacing of the existing road.
The FCT Executive Committee has approved the extension of service contracts for the operation and maintenance of Jabi Pump Station and servicing of associated CWAP lines.
The Council also endorsed the establishment of youth centers to promote entrepreneurship, self-employment, and empowerment programs for young residents of the FCT.
Today at FCT Expo, we were able to approve a memo in respect of complete renovation of Nyanya Youth Center.
In the agricultural sector, farmers are to benefit from fertilizers distribution and other input to boost productivity and contribute to food security. Minister Wike reaffirmed the administration commitment to President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda, assuring residents that all approved projects will directly enhance their living standards. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
World Development Information Day. Stakeholders have called for stronger information system, better data governance, and policies that bridge the persistent gap between knowledge and action. Obong Usoro reports.
The 2025 United Nations World Development Information Day echoed a clear message that timely, accurate, and accessible information is the backbone of sustainable development. With the theme Information for Development, Bridging Knowledge and Action in Africa, the event brought together educators, policymakers, students, and development experts to examine how Africa can transform knowledge into measurable progress. Stakeholders emphasized that access to quality information remains a key factor in addressing Africa's development challenges, promoting innovation, and achieving sustainable development goals.
When we are talking about development information, what you cannot measure, you cannot assess. You cannot assess the impact of development or information without certain criteria or standards.
Vice Chancellor Miba Open University, Professor Tayo Arulogu, stressed that without reliable information and data, informed decision-making, achieving inclusive growth and sustainable development goals will become a challenge for the continent.
It's not only having information that is very, very important, but taking action, standing for something that will change the society, and so that you can make impact with information.
Also speaking, the head of Department for Public Policy Administration, Professor Sam Oni, said the department is committed to making information the cornerstone of decision-making processes.
So it's very important, it's central to sustainable development. And that is why, for instance, we are gathered here today to actually, disseminate and, of course, to also reiterate the importance of information.
In a symbolic move towards deeper collaboration, MIVA University and AGAV Africa signed a memorandum of understanding aimed at strengthening research, data sharing, and public policy development. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
The live broadcast of the Midday News. When the Midday News returns, Super Falcons beat Benin Republic 2-0 in Women African Cup of Nations qualifier. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back from that break. If you're just tuning in, this is the live broadcast of the Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital with Mukhtar Qasim. And now to business news, where the World Bank has announced plans to invest $14 billion in global agribusiness by 2030 under a new program known as AgriConnect. The initiative aims to transition smallholder farming from subsistence to profitable enterprise, creating millions of jobs and boosting food security across developing economies. President of the World Bank, Ajay Banga, said the move represents a shift from financing isolated projects to building entire economic systems that sustain rural growth and employment. The federal government has taken another major step towards inclusive agricultural development with the validation of the revised National Gender Policy in Agriculture and a Strategic Action Plan for 2025 to 2030. Our correspondent, Anita Patrick, reports that the policy aims to bridge gender gaps in access to land, finance, and decision-making across Nigeria's agricultural sector. Her report.
The validation workshop held in Abuja brought together key stakeholders from government agencies and the National Assembly to development partners and Farmer Association. The revised policy led by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is designed to promote inclusivity, equity, and productivity across the agricultural value chain.
Having law protect productivity and inclusivity, the National Gender Policy in Agriculture in our collective response, framework that ensure equal participation, equitable allocation of resources, and targeted support for women, men, young farmers, and possible disadvantaged.
According to the ministry, the document is the product of a year-long consultative process involving more than 1,200 stakeholders across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones. Permanent Secretary of the ministry, Marcus Ogumbi, said the policy marks a milestone in mainstreaming gender equality into agricultural planning and budgeting.
This policy will serve as a guiding framework for our actions and decisions in ensuring that the needs and perspectives of women and other vulnerable groups are integrated into agricultural development.
For the chairperson of the National Gender Steering Committee and Food Systems Specialist at ActionAid Nigeria, Azubike Nwokoye, the policy reflects current realities, including the need to tackle gender-based violence and support young farmers.
This revised National Gender Policy in Agriculture, we reflected over the gaps we have seen. You know, as we have been working with the policy, there are contextual issues that are coming up. There are things that are changing that we need to also reflect and also put in some action.
The revised National Gender Policy in Agriculture is expected to be presented to the National Council on Agriculture for endorsement, setting the stage for more inclusive agricultural growth and better food and nutrition security nationwide. Anita Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Nigeria is taking a major step to boost crop productivity and reduce farming losses through a new soil health scheme designed to guide farmers on the right crops and fertilizers for their land. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Sabi Abdullahi, made this known to the media at the Nigeria Soil Health Information Systems Development Workshop in Abuja. Again, Anita Patrick reports.
The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Sabi Abdullahi, says the initiative will end decades of guesswork in Nigerian farming. He explains that many farmers plant crops without properly knowing the condition of their soil and often waste expensive fertilizers that don't improve yields. Abdullahi added that the program is part of efforts to improve food production and promote what the government calls food sovereignty, ensuring Nigerians grow what they eat.
The National Farmer Soil Health Scheme is actually designed to help us move Nigerian agriculture to better productivity. And like you know, agriculture takes place on the soil, but we've never paid enough attention to the issue of soil.
The minister says data from soil testing will also help fertilizer companies produce crop-specific blends tailored to different regions of the country. Abdullahi notes that with 73 million hectares of arable land, Nigeria currently cultivates less than half of its potential, a gap he believes the new system will help close and attract more investors. He adds that the policy has already taken effect with field trials ongoing.
Now, what this will do for us is that the farmer will have higher yield, he will plant the right crop, get the right yield, but most importantly, he will reduce the cost that he normally gets based on just using any kind of fertilizer. Currently, a lot of our farmers just use any fertilizer blend and they broadcast it anyhow.
Supporting the effort is the Regional Hub for Fertilizer and Soil Health, located at IITA in Ibadan, along with the World Soil Information Center, ISRIC. The hub is working with 17 countries in West Africa and the Sahel, strengthening technology, scientific methods, and local capacity for soil health research.
So one of the roles of the hub is to ensure that NISYS, the Nigerian Soil Information System, is building on the best available technologies today, and that we continuously increase new technology, new science into NISYS, so it remains up to date.
With better information, officials say Nigerian farmers can now make smarter decisions and secure improved harvests, helping drive national food security and productivity. Anita Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
News making rounds on the foreign scene. Ivory Coast has opened polls in high-stakes election that could extend President Alassane Ouattara's rule to nearly 2 decades. And despite facing 4 challenges, the 83-year-old leader is widely expected to retain power as his party dominates parliament and the political space. While Ouattara has overseen strong economic growth, critics say widespread poverty and unemployment persist, particularly among the country's youthful population. Hundreds of aid trucks loaded with food, medicine, and essential supplies remain stranded at the Rafah border crossing between Egypt and Gaza. Truck drivers say Israel's stringent inspection and restrictions have stalled deliveries, with many cargoes spoiling under the desert heat. The International Court of Justice has ordered Israel to cooperate with is one of the most significant challenges facing Syria's new Islamist authorities after the overthrow of longtime ruler Bashir al-Assad. Now to the world of
war, which erupted in 2011 with Assad's brutal repression of anti-government protests, killed over 500,000 people and devastated the country's infrastructure. The World Bank this week estimated that Syria's post-war reconstruction could cost up to $216 billion, further deepening the desperate need for essential supplies.
Look, first and foremost, the international community should definitely rush into rebuilding Syria because of the Syrian people first. Okay, that's one. Because we want to make sure that the Syrian people, they have a secure future, being able to rebuild their lives and being able to live in peace and security.
Afghani says the humanitarian burden is huge, stating that he could not put a price tag on rebuilding Syria, but described the needs as massive.
Right now we have about 16.5 million people are in need for humanitarian access. We have about 7.4 million IDPs and millions of refugees, obviously. The country has a huge issue of unexploded coordinates. The economy has contracted drastically. The GDP of Syria now, it's less than half of what it used to be before the conflict.
Across the country, he said governors had told him about the massive need for housing, schools and health centers, as well as electricity and water. Uyi Agmofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
Exciting world of sport, where Nigeria Super Falcons have taken a commanding step towards the 2026 Women African Cup of Nations after a 2-0 first-leg victory over Benin Republic in Lomé. Goals from Chiwendu Ihezu and Esther Okoronko gave the Falcons a comfortable advantage ahead of the return leg in Abeokuta. With the win, Nigeria remains on course to defend its continental title in Morocco, joining Ghana, Zambia and South Africa among the front-runners in qualifications. Away from football, former UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman has ruled out a potential grudge fight with top contender Bilal Muhammad, insisting he is solely focused on reclaiming his title. The Nigerian Nightmare says his comeback plans include competing at the upcoming UFC White House event and positioning himself for a title shot. Usman, who recently returned to winning ways, remains determined to restore his dominance in the welterweight division. And the stage is set for a thrilling football experience in Abuja as Barcelona legends take on African legend this Saturday. Fans can look forward to excitement, fun, and a wave of nostalgia. Our correspondent, Anita Patrick, reports.
A star-studded lineup of football icons has arrived in the nation's capital and are promising nothing short of entertainment. At a World Press Conference in Abuja, Barcelona legend Gasca Mendieta says he is honored to be in Nigeria for the Champions Cup match at the MK Abiola Stadium. The former Spanish international reflected on his career, describing his professional debut as a dream come true, one that has shaped his future in football.
I'm sure it will be a fantastic game, and we hope everyone have fun. The stadium will be full of fans, and everyone have enjoying the football party, and it will make it worthwhile for everyone.
Also speaking, former Super Eagles goalkeeper Dele Ayenugba says he can't wait to share the pitch with players he admired while growing up.
It's a great opportunity for me because I do watch them on the TV, and and I think it's going to be a great game. We're going to have fun, and I think before the game we're going to give you jollof rice.
Organizers say the match is not just about football, but also about giving back to society. As the chief medical consultant of Atom Foundation, Dr. Zainab Mohammed, highlighted the foundation's focus on the well-being of young girls.
Sports is a universal language. That is exactly what it is. That is why we're using sports to capture people's attention and raise awareness on different things. Like I mentioned last year, we focused on eye care. This year, we're focusing on the girl child and water sanitation and hygiene.
One of its partners, the general manager of Transcorp Hilton, expressed excitement, saying the event helps impact local communities while predicting a 3-3 scoreline. And as the countdown continues, football lovers can look forward to global superstars including Ronaldinho, Javier Saviola, and Jesus Angoy, while Africa will be represented by Emmanuel Adebayo and Nigeria's own JJ Okocha. Fans say they can't wait to experience legendary football right here in Abuja. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
On the midday news, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, and on StarTimes, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms, now showing on your screen, using at Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.